I am the Knight. I am Justice. I am Batman. Just kidding. Hello, folks. H0 here, back with another quick TV review. I'm semi kind of tired. I was trying to get energetic, just to make you guys laugh. But yeah, just showing this small little intro of Batman, and just ignore the Star Killers. I'm kind of biased on that. Just look good in my room. So this one is Batman, the animated series, season 1. Hold up. Turn this off. And it's still kind of blurry, but just dive right in. The good thing is that for starters, the two main inspirations for the show that they came, well, how it was brought up was pretty much Tim Burton's 1989 film with Michael Keaton, and the art style was also influenced by Max Fleischer's Superman series back in, I think, 1940s. I could be wrong. You can correct me. But I remember watching those as well. But of course, it's the new modern. It was getting into the modern era, a little bit of comics and of course with animation. So the good thing is that without this TV series, Superman, Teen Titans, Justice League, most of the animated DC universe and the different multiple stories would exist today. And it is a good, when nowadays when you say animation, you think Disney and of course Max Fleischer. This is one of the titles that's also up there as well, because they also had a movie that came out. I think it had a couple of nominations at the time. It came out in '93. It was The Mask of Phantasm. And the cool thing that even came back later in Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, which I'm gonna semi-touch on. I don't have the movie, and the thing is, I don't think what I stated or even told people on this channel is that everything I review I personally own, so I would not review something, that I don't own yet, and that's just how I am. A little bit of my OCD, but at the same time, me watching it over and over again, I discover something new. So this series came out in, I think, '92. They're working on it in '91. The producers were the ones that I think his name was Bruce Timm. He was the one that was doing Tiny Toons, and he even said, as soon as they came to him for this, I think they wanted something small. He brushed everything aside and he started drawing Batman. And personally, with me, this was my first introduction into the comic book world, was by this cartoon. And I'm a '90s kid, so most '90s kids, they watch this. And X-Men, or the animated series, is also two of the top cartoons from comics that they watched at that time. There were others, of course, that came up after it, but with DC, it was with Batman. And my personal opinion, I think it was between X-Men and Spider-Man, the animated series, which revamped Marvel a little bit, or pushed them up with their animation credibility, because I think they had an X-Men series beforehand. But again, this is about Batman, not about X-Men. I'll talk about that when we get to X-Men. Pretty much, the genius of this series is that each episode they tell like a 23 minute movie. Like, most of the episodes are really, really well written, especially the one about the crime family. And it was a little bit about family drama. And one guy's a criminal, the other one's a priest. And I'm not gonna get into detail with that, but that was one of the Batman episodes I kind of liked the most, because it could have worked without Batman being there. I'm not trying to bash on Batman, of course, but I even said to myself a couple years, I wonder if they would ever do, and ironically it's out now, a Gotham story with no Batman in there, just focus on the human characters. And ironically, we got that now, even though I asked for it a couple years ago. I think I was asking about it ever since Smallville was on the air and how successfully they did their show. But there was a couple episodes like that as well. There was another one with the guy that can go invisible, and he had some family drama of his own, and his wife didn't want to see him. He was separated, fighting. I think he was fighting custody for his daughter, so that's another good piece of the drama. And the good thing is that they still made it kid friendly. They still didn't make it too adultish. And we'll talk a little bit about that when it gets to Batman Beyond, because some of the problem, some of they usually say that art reflects on history and reality versus what's also going on in the piece, so like it bounces off each other. And it's kind of you have a really, really good piece when you do that. So I remember I think I'm trying to remember the first episode I watched as a kid on this. I think it could have been uh the episode, actually the very first episode of the series, the Man Bat episode. And the music is playing and it feels again just like a classic movie. And I remember watching it in Texas, being raised and growing up there. And just like what the creators say, you see those images and you're just astounded by awe. And it was a very, very treasuring, priceless moment. And I didn't even know at that time, of course, I'm a kid, didn't read that many books until I got older. Yeah, around like a little bit 6 and 7, 8ish, when I discovered comics, and knew the history of Batman, knowing that he was a comic book character before he was a cartoon. So, you know, and of course there was some other historians I personally, someone indirectly knew, that told me more about, publication history and all this, that, and the other. And now I'm a wired powerhouse, looking into history of things. But I'm really glad this series came out. The only side catch is that they did send this overseas to get animated by another team, and that costs more money because they set it out and they bring it back. I know the Boondocks had did that, except they sent it to Korea. I think Batman they had sent it to Japan. Um, Pretty much is all the stuff I can think of. They also hired very good actors, and they told them, you know, read it like you're auditioning or you're doing a scene in the movie. Don't do it like a cartoon. And it does pay off, because of course if they would have done it eccentric, like, it wouldn't have been believable. The only character that could really do it and get away with it, of course, is Mark Hamill, who plays the Joker. So with this first season, they had Adam West on one episode, of course Mark Hamill. Well, I know it was somebody else, another semi name. I know it was another actor who I can't even really think of. But that was another good brilliance on the show itself, because people can get caught up and do it over eccentric, or you can tell that they're reading off the lines and not putting in any character with it. And I remember Adriana Romano was saying, even on the Boondocks, because she did the voice animation on this, is that, can you give the character life with just your voice? Yeah, can the person close their eyes and be fooled that it is a person there and not a animated, whatever, animated on digital ink or cell shades. um but yeah, that's pretty much all I got. The next one I'm going to review is the Justice League, and again, I'm trying to find out some more facts on those. But with the Justice League episodes I got, it's not like a particular season. I think it's like 4 episodes, but technically it's 2, because they split up it's like a 2-parter on each one, or sometimes a 4-parter. I know that when they first met each other, it was a 4-part episode or a 6-part episode. But yeah, talk to you guys later. Peace.